Trump criticizes Zelensky for stating that the conclusion of the Russia war remains extremely distant. Starmer reveals a coalition of the willing to ensure Ukraine's peace. Zelensky mentions the potential to mend relations with the U.S. And Trump criticizes Zelensky for stating that the conclusion of the Russia war remains extremely distant. Starmer reveals a coalition of the willing to ensure Ukraine's peace. Zelensky mentions the potential to mend relations with the U.S. and finalize a minerals agreement. Musk stands up for Doge and criticizes AP during a Joe Rogan interview. According to Rolling Stone, FAA officials instructed staff to secure funding for Elon Musk's Starlink. In the United States, the EPA is requesting a review of a $20 billion grant program initiated by the Biden administration.
Guinea-Bissau's leader warns of expelling ECOWAS envoys, while the bloc responds. The Taliban dismisses Trump's assertions regarding Chinese involvement at a former U.S. airfield. 3 days prior, Trump claimed Afghanistan is a major seller of U.S. military equipment, expressing his desire to reclaim the equipment left behind after the disorderly troop withdrawal in 2021. Trudeau plans to discuss with King Charles strategies for safeguarding Canada's sovereignty.
Former FIFA officials Blatter and Platini are returning to court for a new trial following their acquittal in 2022. Kroger's CEO has suddenly resigned amid an investigation into personal conduct. Bold train thieves have targeted BNSF Railway, making off with $2 million worth of Nike and other merchandise.
China's technology company, Honor, has revealed plans to invest a substantial $10 billion in the development of artificial intelligence devices. Meanwhile, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, is set to declare a massive $100 billion investment in constructing chip manufacturing facilities in the United States over the course of the next 4 years. Additionally, Reuters has reported, citing sources, that both Nvidia and Broadcom are currently in the process of testing their chips using Intel's manufacturing process.
Xiaomi plans to introduce electric vehicles worldwide in the coming years following the debut of its $73,000 premium model. Meanwhile, Abu Dhabi is developing electric sea gliders to alleviate transportation challenges. Additionally, BYD vehicles are equipped with an onboard DJI drone launch platform.
China is examining strategies to respond to the U.S. potential imposition of an additional 10% tariff, with U.S. agricultural and food products expected to be targeted, according to a source. Trump implements measures to boost lumber availability and limit wood imports. Trump asserts that Japan and China must cease devaluing their currencies, as it would be unfair to the United States. DARPA is inviting proposals for biological space structures, aligning with the U.S. military's interest in cultivating large biological formations in orbit. Researchers suggest that a protein from tardigrades could shield cancer patients from radiation side effects, and propose injecting astronauts with tardigrade RNA after discovering it prevents radiation damage. NASA has equipped the first private spacecraft destined for Venus with a heat shield.
Israeli-Palestinian film No Other Land wins Oscar for Best Documentary. Oscars 2025, Anorat dominates with 5 Academy Awards, Adrian Brody wins Best Actor for second time. Brit Awards 2025 winners list, Charlie XCX wins Artist and Album of the Year.
A harmful Python package index, PyPI, package named Autumn's has facilitated over 104,000 unauthorized downloads of Deezer music. A report by CrowdStrike highlights a significant increase in cyberattacks that do not involve malware and threats driven by artificial intelligence in the year 2024. Despite being made private, numerous GitHub repositories that were previously exposed can still be accessed using Copilot.
Residents are being advised to brace for the worst as Tropical Cyclone Alfred approaches southeast Queensland. In Spain, 80 individuals are stuck in a Tenerife supermarket because of flooding, while the country is experiencing severe flash floods, with cars being swept away and tourists being cautioned to remain indoors.
Prada is currently in discussions to acquire Versace, with the potential deal valued at nearly €1.5 billion. Meanwhile, Serena Williams has become part of the ownership team for Toronto Tempo, marking the WNBA's inaugural Canadian franchise. Additionally, Disney has decided to cancel a series featuring its first Black princess, Tiana, as Walt Disney Animation steps back from producing long-form streaming content for Disney+.
Iran's Vice President Zarif, who was once the prominent figure of the nuclear deal, resigns due to pressure from hardliners. According to Reuters, Russian missile specialists traveled to Iran during conflicts with Israel. Reuters also mentions that Egypt's proposal to rival Trump's Gaza Riviera seeks to marginalize Hamas.
The Treasury has decided to cease enforcing the business ownership database, which was initially designed to prevent the creation of shell companies. In the United States, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, is not imposing any fines or penalties related to the deadlines for reporting beneficial ownership information. Additionally, despite the stock market reaching record levels of participation, the wealthiest 10% of Americans still hold 93% of all stocks. Furthermore, it has been reported that Doge is facing significant challenges with errors, resulting in the deletion of billions more from its list of savings.
Discussion suggesting that China might be prepared to utilize nuclear fusion for energy. Generation, by the year 2050. Saudi Arabia's major oil company, Aramco.
White House reportedly looking into a plan for potential easing of Russia sanctions. Trump temporarily suspends U.S. military assistance to Ukraine, urging Zelensky to seek a swift resolution to the conflict. Kyiv describes Trump's arms aid halt as painful, but not fatal. Germany's MERS labels Trump and Zelensky's White House disagreement as a deliberate escalation by the U.S., while France's PM criticizes Trump's indecency as a threat to the transatlantic alliance.
Advisory body anticipates that talent and technology will be key drivers of the country's growth. 2 weeks prior, it was reported that China is experiencing a talent shortage as AI jobs, particularly those involving DeepSeek, are rapidly increasing. Researchers were taken aback to discover that less educated regions are adopting AI writing tools more quickly than
Mozilla revises Firefox's terms of service following user complaints. Scientists developed the tiniest shooting video game utilizing nanoscale technology. Insurance companies now declare 20% of crashed cars as total losses, with advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS, partially responsible.
To increase the production of Turkish originals. Meanwhile, YouTube is reportedly developing a redesign similar to Netflix to compete with Amazon Prime Video. Additionally, France's Canal Plus Group has agreed with local guilds to invest a minimum of $503 million in French and European films over the next 3 years.
Singapore is investigating potential fraud in the sale of NVIDIA chips under U.S. control. The Wall Street Journal notes that Chinese buyers are purchasing NVIDIA's latest AI chips, despite U.S. restrictions. Meanwhile, Reuters indicates that Honda will manufacture the next Civic in Indiana instead of Mexico, influenced by U.S. tariffs, according to sources. Additionally, China has imposed tariffs on U.S. agricultural products and blacklisted American companies.
Trump imposes halt on federal credit cards with latest Doge executive order. TNR indicates Doge alters receipts for nearly 50% of its alleged savings. U.S. SEC provides staff with $50,000 incentive to resign or retire, according to memo. Senate approves Linda McMahon to head Education Department as Trump promises to close it.
Canadian Prime Minister has expressed his willingness to halt electricity exports to the United States, stating he would do so with a smile. Earlier, President Trump announced that 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada would commence on Tuesday, leaving no possibility for postponement. Meanwhile, OPEC Plus is set to initiate a long-awaited increase in oil supply, influenced by pressure from President Trump. Additionally, Warren Buffett has described tariffs as equivalent to an act of war. U.S. introduces a novel technique that harvests 14 liters of potable water from the atmosphere each day utilizing food waste. Tiziana Life Sciences unveils a significant study published in Nature Neuroscience, showing beneficial outcomes for nasal anti-CD3 therapy in cases of traumatic brain.
Bowel cancer rates are increasing among young adults. Gen Z is more supportive of marriage compared to millennials and engages in less casual sex. A juice fast lasting only 3 days might be causing more harm than good.
Zelensky labels Oval Office meeting as unfortunate and expresses willingness to negotiate peace. Zelensky proposes a partial truce to Putin for the first time to halt air and sea assaults. Germany's MERS secures a debt agreement to finance defense and infrastructure.
In another development, the U.S. Supreme Court has imposed stricter regulations on the Environmental Protection Agency's ability to monitor sewage discharges. Additionally, The Guardian has published a report suggesting that major egg companies in the U.S. might be exploiting avian flu to increase egg prices, offering them for sale at $5 a dozen.
Getting the measles vaccine. A vaccine pill for norovirus appears promising in combating the winter vomiting virus. For the first time, female doctors in the UK surpassed their male counterparts in numbers.
LeBron James is set to be the first player to achieve a total of 50,000 points in both the NBA regular season and playoffs. A Cheeto shaped like Pokemon was auctioned for $88,000. The smallest handmade sculpture ever created is a Lego brick that is the size of a blood cell.
Greenland's leader asserts that the island belongs to them, while Trump expresses his intention to acquire the territory, promising the people of Greenland that they will become wealthy. Meanwhile, China's premier declares the country's commitment to advancing the reunification with Taiwan. Additionally, Vance visits the Mexico border and assures that the U.S. will not invade Mexico.
Apple initiates legal proceedings in the UK concerning data privacy issues. In the United States, Utah is the first state to enact an App Store age verification law. The legal battle between Musk and OpenAI is scheduled for a swift trial this year, but the judge rejects Musk's effort to prevent OpenAI from transitioning.
Arab leaders endorse a $53 billion alternative to Trump's Gaza plan, with Arab states embracing Egypt's vision instead of Trump's Gaza Riviera. Israel eliminates a Hamas commander in the West Bank and a suspected Hezbollah member in Lebanon. The U.S. conducts confidential negotiations with Hamas regarding Gaza hostages, according to sources.
Trump officials indicate that the United States temporarily halted intelligence sharing with Ukraine, but they suggest this pause might be short-lived following a heated meeting. Meanwhile, the White House asserts that the suspension of weapons and intelligence to Ukraine will be lifted once.
Danish archaeologists have unearthed a wooden circle dating back 4,000 years, reminiscent of Stonehenge. In Karnak, Egypt, a treasure-laden pottery vessel from 2,600 years ago has been found. Additionally, archaeologists have identified the earliest knives, crafted from bone approximately 1.5 million years ago. LA Times reportedly removes new AI tool from story after it downplayed KKK, as just a day ago it only took a day for LA Times' new AI tool to sympathize with the KKK. Pioneers behind reinforcement learning win Turing Award, and Turing Award winners caution against unsafe deployment of AI models. Celebrite is utilizing AI to summarize chat logs and audio from seized mobile phones.
The UK has activated the largest battery in Europe, providing grid stability services. ADNOC and OMV are planning to merge their petrochemical companies, forming a $60 billion entity. According to Reuters, the U.S. is reportedly pulling out of a plan to assist major polluters in transitioning away from coal, as per sources. Trump warns of higher tariffs if Canada responds. Trudeau calls tariffs very dumb, claims Trump aims to harm the Canadian economy, and suggests Trump's objective in the trade war is to annex Canada. Mexico announces it will apply retaliatory tariffs on the U.S., with specifics to be released on Sunday. A Chinese credit ratings agency reduces Thailand's rating due to crime scandals and economic outlook.
Photograph a significant moment in civil supersonic aviation. Jet Zero and Delta join forces to innovate air travel by developing a groundbreaking aircraft that is 50% more fuel efficient for both domestic and international journeys. China is addressing the stealth code and cracks of the F-22 using a 3,000-year-old silk weaving technique.
Wall Street Journal reports that Department of Commerce to overhaul Internet for All plan, expanding Starlink funding prospects. 7 days ago it has been reported as Musk's Starlink pushed by GOP for $42 billion broadband build-out. Fox News reports that Elon Musk PAC thanks Trump for saving the American dream in new $1 million ad. The IRS is drafting plans to cut as much as half of its 90,000-person workforce, AP sources say.
Giving up your phone for a mere 3 days can significantly alter your brain activity. A study reveals that the immune systems of plants and humans are more similar than previously believed. Cortical Labs introduces the world's first synthetic biological intelligence, operating on living human cells, marking the launch of the first commercial biocomputer utilizing human brain cells.
A record number of Americans sought UK citizenship following Trump's re-election. Canadian coffee shops reportedly renaming the Americano drink to Canadiano in response to Trump and U.S. tariffs, while viral photos depict a bald eagle and Canada goose engaged in an icy duel, symbolizing the trade war. Putin has reportedly agreed to assist Trump in brokering nuclear talks with Iran.
OpenAI has introduced Next-Gen AI, a collaborative effort involving 15 prominent research institutions. Meanwhile, Anthropic has discreetly taken down its AI policy commitments from the Biden era on its website. Additionally, Salesforce has unveiled Agent Exchange, which is described as the reliable marketplace for Agentforce. The zombie MMO Urban Dead, a cult favorite, is closing after 19 years, 8 months, and 11 days.
U.S. Immigration Service requests social media information from visa applicants. Nauru offers citizenship to support climate change initiatives. Nauru offers citizenship to support climate change initiatives. Mushers start the challenging Iditarod race following significant alterations due to insufficient snow, with the 2025 Iditarod dog race being extended to unprecedented lengths because of the lack of snow.
Alibaba introduces an open-source model, QWQ32B, which achieves performance comparable to DeepSeek R1 with significantly reduced computational needs. Salesforce unveils Agentforce 2DX, an AI solution that operates independently throughout enterprise systems. Prime Video initiates a pilot program for AI-assisted dubbing of movies and series.
Analysts suggest that SoftBank's ARM will play a crucial role in propelling Malaysia's ambitious $270 billion chip industry objectives, with the country's fabless semiconductor companies expected to benefit significantly from the partnership with ARM Holdings. Meanwhile, former President Trump has advocated for the termination of the $52 billion CHIPS Act subsidy program, and the U.S. CHIPS Act office has experienced a substantial reduction in its workforce, losing 2/5 of its staff due to what is described as a Trump-initiated purge. Additionally, Reuters has reported that China is set to release a policy aimed at promoting the widespread adoption of RISC-V chips across the nation, according to sources.
Google has launched a new feature called AI Mode for providing overviews, incorporating the Gemini 2.0 model to assist with more complex inquiries. Meanwhile, OpenAI is considering a subscription model that would charge $20,000 per month for access to PhD-level AI agents. Additionally, Stability AI has secured an investment from WPP, which owns companies like AKQA, Burson, Hogarth, Ogilvy, VML, and Group M, with the aim of influencing the future of media and entertainment production.
Coinbase aims to expand in the U.S. market by launching an initiative focused on tokenized securities. Meanwhile, Yuga Labs, the creator of Bored Ape, announced that the SEC is concluding its investigation, marking a significant victory for the NFT sector and leading to a 94% drop in Pump.Fund's trading volume as the memecoin craze subsides. Additionally, the CFPB has dismissed its Zelle fraud reimbursement case against JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, as Trump-era agencies continue to drop numerous Biden-era cases targeting crypto and other companies.
In the United States, the Justice Department has filed charges against 12 Chinese contract hackers and law enforcement officers involved in worldwide computer intrusion campaigns, part of a hacker-for-hire ecosystem including the APT27 group. The Silk Typhoon hackers are now focusing on IT supply chains to infiltrate networks, as Microsoft has issued warnings about Chinese hackers monitoring cloud technology. In India, starting the financial year 2026-27, income tax officers will have the ability to access email and social media accounts in certain situations.
Japanese automobile manufacturers are in a fierce competition to recruit software engineers as they advance in electric vehicle and autonomous driving technologies. Meanwhile, Hyundai has partnered with Avride, a spin-off from Yandex, to work on the development of robot Axis. Additionally, NPC Deputy Liu Hanyuan has stated that China might be able to cease importing oil from other nations within the next 2 decades.
A platform for gaming chat, is in the initial stages of discussions with financial institutions regarding the possibility of going public. Meanwhile, Meta is introducing its facial recognition technology, designed to combat scams, to the United Kingdom and Europe. Additionally, Dig is set to make a return, with its co-founder Rose and Reddit Sahanian investing in a revival powered by artificial intelligence.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup final will feature a halftime show similar to the Super Bowl, with Coldplay involved in the planning, according to Gianni Infantino. Netflix's content spending is projected to reach $18 billion in 2025, and its CFO states that this figure is not anywhere near a ceiling. DAZN and TNT Sport have formed a broadcast partnership for the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 in the United States. Macron declares that France must confront the Russian threat independently of the US. The Financial Times suggests that Europe needs to reduce its welfare state to develop a warfare state. The EU proposes a $158 billion fund to increase military spending following the US suspension of Ukraine aid.
Aspirin and ibuprofen may offer protection against dementia, according to a recent study. A woman with Down syndrome experienced Alzheimer's without dementia in an unexpected case. Engaging in muscle-strengthening exercises might assist older adults in addressing insomnia.
Reuters indicates that the United States is considering a strategy to interfere with Iran's oil operations by stopping ships in the ocean. North Korea has publicly displayed a nuclear-powered submarine for the first occasion. Canada is contemplating military expansion in the Arctic as a reaction to Trump's requests.
Putin insists that any peace agreement with Ukraine must guarantee Russia's security, and refuses to back down. Zelensky confirms that Ukraine will participate in U.S. peace talks in Saudi Arabia, 1 week following a disagreement at the Oval Office. Orbán announces that Hungary will conduct a public poll regarding Ukraine's EU membership. Trump indicates that he is contemplating imposing banking sanctions and tariffs on Russia. BBC News plans to establish an AI department to enhance personalized content delivery. DuckDuckGo introduces a new generative AI feature that provides instant summaries of Wikipedia articles. Christie's auction featuring only AI-generated art exceeds expectations, raising over $700,000.
Apple is reportedly planning to release a foldable iPhone in 2026, priced at $2,500, and equipped with AI features. Meanwhile, Volkswagen has introduced its most affordable electric vehicle, which is the first to utilize Rivian software. Additionally, Microsoft is developing new in-house AI models and is testing DeepSeek and Meta's technologies in its Copilot application.
A call between Trump and Trudeau following the tariff announcement became heated, reportedly involving profanity. Trudeau anticipates a trade war between Canada and the U.S. for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, Trump has paused most tariffs on Mexico as Canada seeks a resolution. Additionally, Trump has delayed some tariffs on Mexico and Canada for a period of 1 month. In response, China has imposed new tariffs on Canadian agriculture, targeting
1Password has launched a feature called Nearby Items, which associates passwords with specific physical locations. Meanwhile, a new type of attack involves malicious Chrome extensions that can imitate password managers. In the United States, the FCC is planning to investigate alternative to GPS due to
UK discreetly removes encryption guidance from official websites. Brazilian encryption guidance from official websites. Brazilian judicial body mandates Apple to permit sideloading on iOS within a 90-day period. Danish postal operator plans to cease letter delivery, following a 90% reduction in volumes. France is contemplating using its nuclear weapons to safeguard European allies, according to President Macron, a proposal that has been positively received by Poland and the Baltic countries.
For potential removal. An EU court imposes fines on 5 nations for insufficient whistleblower protection.
Axios notes a division among AI enthusiasts. It is said that a quarter of startups in YC's current group have codebases that are nearly all AI generated. Hugging Face's chief science officer is concerned that AI is turning into yes men on servers.
In Thailand, the court has terminated a 50-year-old regulation concerning student hairstyles. Formula One drivers are at risk of being banned for expressing criticism towards the governing body. Monopoly has introduced a new edition of its board game, replacing the traditional banker with an application.
In the United States, private prison companies are set to reopen previously closed facilities to accommodate immigrants. President Trump plans to withdraw legal status from 240,000 Ukrainians as the U.S. intensifies deportation efforts. According to Axios, the U.S. State Department intends to employ artificial intelligence to cancel visas for foreign students who seem to be pro-Hamas.
Glastonbury Festival 2025 has revealed its lineup, with Olivia Rodrigo, the 1975, and Charlie XCX as the headliners. Walt Disney is bringing back its 1927 animated character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, to Disney, and Jon Favreau is planning to write and produce a TV series featuring Oswald at Disney+. Netflix is continuing its boxing series with an all-women event at Madison Square Garden.
China advocates for peaceful coexistence with the U.S. despite existing differences. The Philippines plans to sign a troops agreement with Canada as their defense relationship strengthens.
In the United States, a Guatemalan national has been apprehended, following an indictment that accuses him of orchestrating one of the most extensive human smuggling operations in the country. Approximately 20,000 individuals have been smuggled from Guatemala into the U.S. and subsequently transported across various states. Additionally, a $10 million reward is being offered for the capture of a former Olympic snowboarder, who is now suspected of becoming an alleged drug lord. Furthermore, the FBI has taken into custody a soldier who is accused of selling intelligence belonging to the United States Army to China.
Heat waves in 2024 led to increased electricity demand, which was met by a rise in coal generation. Wells Fargo has abandoned its net zero target as financial institutions adjust their sustainability approaches. Turtles are altering their nesting behaviors due to climate change.
Spain's government intends to expedite defense expenditures to achieve 2% of GDP by 2029. Concerned about Trump's policies, Poland's premier suggests exploring nuclear options, while Tusk envisions extensive military training for all adult males to enhance reserves. According to The Telegraph, Trump might move U.S. troops from Germany to Hungary. A study indicates that scheduling surgery right before the weekend is generally not a good idea. A South Korean team has created an Iron Man robot designed to assist paraplegics in walking. In the United Kingdom, non-browning bananas have been approved for a March release. 1 year ago, the Philippines approved gene-edited bananas aimed at reducing food waste.
Stanford medicine research suggests that a naturally occurring molecule matches Ozempic in weight loss while avoiding side effects. Individuals suffering from long COVID experience restoration of their sense of smell and taste through innovative surgical procedures. A study reveals that not all generics are the same, highlighting a 54% increased risk associated with Indian-produced medications.
Attributed to a Trump bump, as its global sales have decreased. Consequently, Elon Musk's personal wealth has dropped by $121 billion due to the decline in Tesla's stock prices, according to a recent report. In an effort to promote transparency regarding Doge, The Intercept has released Musk's government emails. Additionally, U.S. Marshals were involved in escorting the Doge team into an African aid agency, leading to a lawsuit against Elon Musk after he used the Marshals to take control of the agency. Just 2 days ago, African aid workers prevented Doge staff from entering their small office to terminate employees.
Gallup has revealed that fewer than half of the people in the United States now express sympathy for Israelis. Meanwhile, Axios has reported that Israel expressed its disapproval of the secretive discussions between the United States and Hamas during a tense telephone conversation. Additionally, in the context of the Iran nuclear deal negotiations, Donald Trump has sent a letter to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, proposing negotiations regarding the nuclear deal and cautioning of severe repercussions if these talks do not take place.
The United States is considering prohibiting the Chinese application DeepSeek on government devices, according to a source. China has introduced a government-supported venture fund valued at $138 billion, which encompasses quantum startups. Larry Page has established a new startup focused on artificial intelligence.
Podcast. Revolut and Visa initiate legal proceedings against the UK payments regulator. Garantex cryptocurrency exchange faces disruption in its international activities, with 2 administrators accused of running a multi-billion-dollar crypto money laundering operation. David Sachs claims that the U.S. missed out on $17 billion.
Fighting with Elon Musk's growing political influence.
In the United States, Treasury Secretary Bessent emphasizes that the American dream is not centered around having access to inexpensive goods. Meanwhile, Fed Chair Powell states, no hurry to reduce rates despite the volatility surrounding Trump, expressing confidence in the economy amid Trump's tariff disruptions. Additionally, Bloomberg highlights that Americans are falling behind on car payments at the highest rate in decades.
The EU refutes accusations of targeting U.S. tech companies, stating that the U.S. is also addressing monopolization. The Commission stands by its digital markets regulations amid U.S. criticism. Meanwhile, in the U.S., federal authorities have abandoned their attempt to force Google to sell its AI investments, although they continue to pursue the sale of Chrome. Additionally, Nasdaq is participating in exchanges to facilitate round-the-clock trading.
An Argentine official has stated that the city needs to be reconstructed following a storm that resulted in the deaths of 10 people. Meanwhile, the governor of New York has issued a state of emergency due to a brush fire on Long Island, which is being fueled by strong winds. Additionally, scientists have reported that global sea ice levels reached a record low in February. U.S. imposes trade sanctions on Switzerland due to alleged unfair practices. Trump suggests that co-hosting the World Cup with Canada and Mexico during a trade war adds excitement. China reaches agreements to purchase Ukrainian peas and wild aquatic products.
Doge is reportedly beginning the implementation of a personalized chatbot to streamline certain government operations. In the United States, the House GOP is proposing a plan to prevent a government shutdown by reducing spending and increasing defense allocations, while also introducing a Trump-supported bill to achieve this goal. Additionally, the Trump administration has decided to maintain the merger guidelines established during the Biden era.
As young as 11 are being targeted by criminals involved in sextortion. A study reveals a significant rise in non-fatal exposure to fentanyl among children in the United States over the last 10 years. Beijing plans to introduce AI courses for children to enhance the growth of the sector.
Increased screen time is associated with the development of bipolar and manic symptoms in U.S. preteenagers. Manufacturers of snacks are taking steps to eliminate artificial colors from their processed products. Men who exhibit anger are often viewed by women as having lower intelligence.
Thousands in Nepal are calling for the restoration of the monarchy due to increasing public dissatisfaction with the political situation. A far-right Romanian candidate who supports Russia was prohibited from participating in the presidential election 10 days ago. Additionally, this candidate was detained and charged in connection with an election investigation. Former Philippine President Duterte dismisses the potential arrest by the ICC during his visit to Hong Kong. He also assures Filipinos residing in Hong Kong that he never committed crimes against humanity.
Following a disagreement with Poland, Elon Musk has assured that Ukraine will continue to have access to Starlink, emphasizing its crucial role as the backbone of the Ukrainian army, and warning that the entire front line would collapse if I turned it off. Recently, a conflict arose on X between Poland and the US regarding Ukraine's access to Starlink, with Marco Rubio and Musk confronting the Polish foreign minister, accusing him of fabricating information. Earlier, Poland had expressed readiness to explore alternatives to Starlink for Ukraine, if Musk were to be deemed unreliable. Additionally, the U.S. has reportedly partially halted its support for F-16 fighters in Ukraine, as mentioned by Forbes. Furthermore, there are reports indicating that Russia is making progress in Kursk, which poses a threat to Ukraine's only territorial leverage.
China warns of intensifying measures against Taiwan if independence efforts rise. China is leading in shipbuilding statistics, which poses a concern, according to an Indopacom official, 2 months ago. By 2027, China will have 12 times more fighter jets than the U.S., potentially outnumbering the U.S. fleet in crucial areas, as stated by a senior official. The Washington Post reveals that Meta, led by Zuckerberg, allegedly contemplated sharing user data with China, based on a whistleblower's claims. Additionally, Meta is accused of trying to implement Chinese censorship to gain entry into the Facebook market.
Research indicates that seed dispersers assist plants in ascending mountains to evade climate change, highlighting the role of plants in Mesoamerican cloud forests in this process. Approximately half of the well-known tropical plant groups associated with birds of paradise and bananas face the risk of extinction. The study asserts that the ozone hole is recovering due to worldwide efforts to decrease CFC emissions.
Financial Times reveals that Chinese investors secretly acquire shares in Elon Musk's enterprises. Google removes references to diversity and equity from the Responsible AI team's webpage. Trump announces that the U.S. is engaging in discussions with 4 distinct groups regarding the sale of TikTok.
Inhibitory neurons. Neuralink, led by Elon Musk, seeks to trademark the term telepathy.
Mark Carney is set to become Canada's next Prime Minister after securing the Liberal leadership. In July 2024, an assassination attempt on Trump led to decreased support for partisan violence and heightened group unity. The EU is making plans to allow Ukraine access to the single market as part of a peace agreement. The United States has declined the G7's proposal to address Russia's covert oil tanker fleet, opting instead to concentrate on China. The U.S. indicates that Ukraine is prepared to advance with its truce request. German legislators propose a Euro-eyes espionage network due to doubts about U.S. intelligence, while the U.S. halts its commercial satellite imagery service for Ukraine. U.S. examines egg suppliers amid rising costs. Gucci and Prada shut additional stores in China due to decreased luxury expenditure. Trump administration terminates Iraq's exemption to purchase Iranian electricity. The market for service robots in Japan is expected to grow threefold over the next 5 years. In a groundbreaking development, scientists have created a new micro-battery design that converts nuclear waste into electricity. Meanwhile, TarLogic has discovered a backdoor vulnerability in the widely used ESP32 chip, which is found in numerous smart devices equipped with Bluetooth, posing a potential threat to millions of Internet of Things, IoT devices.
1,400 years, characterized by dramatic facial expressions, were found on a pyramid in El Salvador. The remains of a child from 29,000 years ago were discovered in a Thailand cave, accompanied by symbols of blood and power.
Stem cell therapy trial successfully reverses previously considered irreversible damage to the cornea. A new cell transplantation technique has been shown to reverse type 1 diabetes. Preliminary research indicates that aspirin might inhibit cancer metastasis by enhancing the immune response.
Damien Chazelle's movie about Evel Knievel, featuring Leonardo DiCaprio, might start shooting this year. Ben Stiller, the director of Severance, likens Lumen Industries to Apple and mentions he has never once received a critical note. Justin Lin collaborates with Keanu Reeves on a tough action film titled BRZRKR. Russia's inspections on China-Europe rail freight are leading to delays. Argentina has sent military forces to address a large fishing swarm led by China near its waters. Theft of coffee beans is increasing in the U.S. due to rising prices.
Reuters has announced that CoreWeave has secured a $12 billion cloud contract from OpenAI, according to sources, prior to the company's IPO. Additionally, Reuters reports that Meta is initiating the testing of its inaugural AI training chip developed internally. Furthermore, Roche and Zealand Pharma have entered into a $5.3 billion agreement concerning a novel obesity drug candidate.
BlackRock's Fink warns that Trump's deportations will significantly affect agriculture and construction. HSBC reassesses its European stock outlook, lowering its U.S. expectations due to reconsideration of Trump optimism. In the United States, Representatives Ocasio-Cortez and Luna propose a bill to limit credit card interest rates to a maximum of 10%. In the United States, Homeland Security has revamped its asylum phone application, which is now intended for self-deportation. A Justice Department official claims she was dismissed for opposing the reinstatement of Mel Gibson's gun rights. Tulsi Gabbard has withdrawn security clearances for several high-ranking Biden officials and individuals who criticize Trump.
Amazon will start streaming Trump's The Apprentice. Trump announces his purchase of a Tesla to demonstrate support for Musk amid declining sales, and he vows to classify assaults on Tesla sites as domestic terrorism. The California Pension Fund designates Chevron and Saudi Aramco as climate investments.
Tech for India AI talent. Amazon, Google, and Meta support tripling of nuclear capacity by 2050. Remain a crucial player in the global climate change efforts, even in the absence of Donald Trump, according to the president of COP30. A recent study suggests that the Earth's atmosphere is contracting, which heightens the dangers associated with space debris. This is because climate change is expected to decrease the number of satellites that can safely orbit the planet. Additionally, Relativity has appointed Eric Schmidt as its new CEO while simultaneously advancing the development of its Terran R rocket.
Sony Music reports the removal of more than 75,000 items in its ongoing efforts to combat AI deepfakes. Scale AI is under investigation due to claims that it is not adequately compensating its data labeling contractors. A leaked internal Sony video features Horizon's Alloy to demonstrate an AI-powered prototype of a PlayStation character.
Microsoft Threat Intelligence revealed that a malware-teasing campaign results in information stealers being hosted on GitHub. NTT acknowledged that hackers obtained details of nearly 18,000 corporate customers during a cyber attack. Federal authorities connected a $150 million cyber hiss to the 2022 LastPass hacks.
Carlos Slim has decided to sever his connection with Elon Musk's Starlink, and is instead investing a substantial $22 billion in establishing his own independent network. In a separate development, Airtel has declared a partnership with SpaceX to introduce Starlink's high-speed internet services to its customer base in India. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is attempting to arrange a meeting with the Italian president in an effort to rescue the Starlink deal, following reports from 7 days ago that Italy is becoming hesitant about proceeding with the agreement to utilize Musk's Starlink.
Direct eye contact with Mark Zuckerberg, according to a new book. Additionally, a former executive claims that Facebook employees would intentionally lose board games against Zuckerberg. During the 2 sessions in Beijing, there are indications of increased protections for delivery riders. Meanwhile, Deliveroo has withdrawn from Hong Kong due to pressure from Meituan and Zap, and Uber has halted its acquisition of Delivery Hero's Taiwan Foodpanda business because of regulatory challenges. Ukraine has accepted a 30-day ceasefire in exchange for weapons from the United States. Meanwhile, Poland is seeking 100,000 volunteers to undergo military training in 2027. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, advises that governments should utilize EU loans to purchase goods from European manufacturers. Additionally, Bloomberg highlights that Estonia's startups are finding opportunities in Europe's rapid rearmament efforts.
Spain is set to implement significant penalties for failing to label content created by artificial intelligence. In the European Union, Apple and Meta have managed to steer clear of fines that could have reached up to 10% of their global revenue, instead encountering only minor sanctions. Meanwhile, Google has updated its Chrome extension policies in response to the Honey link scandal, now imposing restrictions on questionable affiliate extensions such as Honey.
In the United States, Senator Cynthia Lummis has reintroduced the Bitcoin Act, which proposes enabling the country to purchase $80 billion worth of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, Coinbase has registered with India's Financial Intelligence Unit and intends to launch crypto trading services within the year. Additionally, Thailand has given the green light for USDT and USDC to be traded on cryptocurrency exchanges.
TikTok plans to implement a 10 p.m. curfew for the majority of teenagers. LEGO is establishing an in-house game development team, creating a new studio. Waymo is providing round-the-clock robotaxi services in Silicon Valley.
The U.S. Department of Education has reduced its workforce by approximately 50%. The White House has clarified that former President Trump will not reduce Social Security or Medicare following comments by Elon Musk. The U.S. Department of Defense has revealed that the Pentagon is cutting back on social science research to focus on fiscal responsibility and technologies for future battlefields.
Musk has stated that Doge cryptocurrency is present in nearly every federal agency, and intends to increase the staff by a factor of 2. Meanwhile, Harvard University has decided to halt its hiring process amid threats from Donald Trump to withdraw funding. Additionally, Reuters has reported that Trump is considering the establishment of minerals refining facilities on Pentagon bases to enhance the United States' production capabilities, according to sources.
During a speech at Harvard, the former Prime Minister of Israel humorously suggested he would provide protesters with exploding pagers. A comedian who made disparaging remarks about Puerto Rico at a Trump rally has secured a deal with Netflix. China is set to convene Russia and Iran for discussions on nuclear matters, coinciding with Trump's efforts to negotiate a weapons agreement.
Trump said Russia had all the cards, but this ceasefire proposal just called Putin's bluff. China to host Russia and Iran for nuclear talks amid Trump's bid to make a deal on weapons. Iran's president to Trump said, "I will not negotiate, do whatever the hell you want."
Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports are implemented, prompting Europe to retaliate with EU countermeasures targeting U.S. goods worth $28 billion. Australia decides against a reciprocal action on the U.S. after Trump enforces steel tariffs.